I'm telling y'all right now, I wouldn't even let them cut my hair in exchange for 6 months off my sentence. What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, people have lost their minds. So in today's video, I'm going to go over this article that I saw pop up last month. I'm a little behind, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it, and I think we really need to talk about it. I don't even want to say my intro because this makes me so violent, but if you guys want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my Facebook page. All right, let's kick this thing off. So this bill was proposed in Massachusetts, which essentially means that a group of grown-ass adults got together in a room and they were like, hey, do you know what would be like a really good idea? Because we need organs for that transplant list. It would be a great idea, maybe, if we go to the prison, right? And then we ask them to give us their organs and we'll give them like 5 seconds of time off their sentence. And then other people agreed. You know, they were like, yeah, no, we should draft that up. We should write that up. And they did. And they did. It just shows you how disconnected our lawmakers are when it comes to prison reform, addiction, mental health, the pipeline from foster care to prison. I mean, I can't even comprehend this. I can't comprehend how a bunch of people thought this was a good idea. But let me read it to you and you be the judge. You make up your own mind. So it says, Massachusetts bill would let prisoners donate organs in exchange for shorter sentences. I wouldn't go to boot camp in exchange for a shorter sentence because you have to wake up and like run and work out and it's really, really hard. And the people that make it through that, they're freaking warriors. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't work out in exchange for extra time off my sentence. I wouldn't cut my hair in exchange for a shorter sentence. You know what I mean? It's fine. Okay. Massachusetts legislators have proposed a bill that would allow prison inmates to donate their organs or bone marrow as a way to trim the length of their sentence. Both of those things are freaking painful and horrible and like, what, you just want to take their body parts now? Okay. While some experts wonder about the ethics of such a law, just some, I'm gonna break out in hives, and whether it would even be allowed under federal law, because under federal law, you can't sell organs. Like you can't exchange organs like that. You know what I mean? Can't buy, sell, and trade organs. So federal law would exempt that. A Democratic sponsor of the bill, State Rep Judith Garza, told the Associated Press it could reduce health inequities from the vicious cycle of unjust incarceration over policing of Black and brown communities. While Black and Hispanic people tend to have a higher need for organ donation because of certain health conditions, discriminatory incarceration rates limit matches and lead to long wait lists for Black people, Garza explained. Essentially, what they are proposing is to take body parts from one group of people that are suffering, that are struggling, that are at the lowest of their low, and give those things that they probably don't want to hand over, and I'll get there in a second, to another group of people that are also struggling. And I don't understand it here. So you have no idea what an inmate is going through. You don't know what their life looks like on the outside or how desperate they might be to get home because maybe there's an emergency at home. Maybe someone in their family is in hospice. Maybe their kids need them. Maybe, you know, their husband, wife needs them to come home and get a job and help financially. Like, you have no idea how desperate so many people are to get home to their families because of a million different things, because of life. So you're gonna go to those people and say, this is a volunteer program because under federal law, we can't sell and trade organs. But do you wanna get out of prison early? Great, we're gonna take a kidney, if that's cool with you. And some people are so desperate that they're gonna do it. Now that in turn creates more obstacles in their life. It creates health concerns and health problems later on down the road, maybe, potentially, who knows. And I understand that we need more organs for the organ donor list. I get it. I'm an organ donor. Take all this stuff when I'm not here, you know? But how many more ways can we exploit inmates? We already have billion-dollar companies making billions of dollars off of the backs of the suffering people in prison. And I know that I get a lot of, comments and a lot of backlash when I say that because they broke a law, they're serving their sentence, but they're being exploited by our government and they have been for a very long time. Slavery never ended in our country. It was just rebranded because there was a clause in there that says, except for the punishment of crime, we can still exploit people and hurt people and pay them nothing if they break a law. We have so many problems in our criminal justice system, so many problems. And the ideas that these lawmakers are coming to the table with are organs for 6 months to a year off your sentence. Excuse me. Like the audacity. Now, the reason why our prisons are filled to the brim is because of the war on drugs. Addiction is a mental health issue. Addiction is a disease. That is not my opinion. That is science. That's backed by every medical professional. It is what it is. We are already causing more harm than good with the war on drugs and our prison population. Not all experts agree. Thank God someone has some common sense. The bill reads like something from a dystopian novel. Kevin Ring, president of Families Against Mandatory Minimums. Mandatory minimums need to go out the fucking window. Promoting organ donation is good. Reducing excessive prison terms is also good. Trying the two together is perverse. Yes, it's deeply offensive to even think that it would be okay to suggest that. So the article goes on to say, you can't buy an organ. That should end the discussion. It's compensation for services. Federal law bans selling organs, and when you're directly exchanging a body part for time off of a prison sentence, it's equivalent, it's the same. Don't we exploit prisoners enough? I've been to prison, I didn't see a lot of evil people. They're in there, trust and believe there were some people that should never get out of prison. However, I saw more hurt people, people in pain, people struggling. I saw more of that than I ever saw of evil people or maliciously violent, crazy serial killers. I've actually never met a serial killer. On the other side of the bill, Democratic State Rep Carlos Gonzalez said the program would be voluntary. It's not voluntary, that's the thing. A lot of inmates are in mental health crises, have tons of problems at home. They have to get home to their kids, or they want to get home for a sick family member, or anything, a graduation, birth of their kid. Mentally, when you miss out on all of these things, it really wears you down. And prison is a very dark, very depressing, very heavy place. Obviously, it's prison, right? But so many people are desperate to get home. I don't think this will ever happen, but the reason why I want to talk about it is because so many lawmakers just don't get it. Like, this is how disconnected they are from what is going on behind those walls, and even what's going on before people even get to prison. Gonzalez said the program would be voluntary and that he would be open to an organ donation program that wasn't paired with sentence reduction. Of course you would, because you want to fix this problem over here, because people really do need organs, but maybe don't look at the prison to take them. You know what I mean? We are open to setting policy without incentives, Gonzalez said, adding that it's crucial to respect prisoners' inmates' dignity and agency by respecting their choice to donate bone marrow or an organ. I don't think a lot of inmates are gonna be like, hey, you can take my bone marrow, like, for free. Would you give up your bone marrow for free? If you wouldn't do it as a state rep, as a senator, whatever, governor, why are you asking inmates to do it? Under the proposal, the program would allow inmates to receive sentence reductions of 60 days, fuck right off, to 1 year after donating organs or bone marrow. A committee would decide how much they would need to donate for a sentence reduction. And again, people got together in a room and decided that that would be 60 days. I think if you want to be a police officer, state legislator, governor, senator, president, I think you should have to serve like 30 days in jail for the experience. It's about the experience. Like, cops have to be pepper sprayed, right? I think that you should have to go to jail for it should be part of your training. Maybe not 30 days, maybe like a week or two, but something. I think you should have to go through the entire process if you want to be in certain jobs. And if you're going to write laws like this, you're drafting up some laws for the rest of us, I think maybe you should go to jail for like a little bit, just a little bit of time, so that you have a new perspective, so you know what it's actually like. I'm just saying. It's not clear how prisons would care for inmates after an organ donation. That's the whole thing. So are they gonna stay in the infirmary after they get that done? Are they gonna have special diet to make sure that they can get their strength? Are you gonna hire more people to take care of the inmates that are now in there as a recovery process? I don't know if anyone has told these people, prisons are often short-staffed, so. Federal inmates can currently donate organs, but only to family members. I actually didn't know that. I have to research that. I feel like that's a whole video too. It's at least a TikTok. More than 4,600 Massachusetts residents await an organ transplant, including 28% who are Black or Hispanic. It's kind of an extreme way to get your sentence reduced, you think? I don't know if it makes much sense. It doesn't. I know that people in prison made mistakes. They broke the law, they ended up in prison, right? I totally get that. Are there some innocent people in there? Yes, of course. But at the end of the day, let's just say most of them committed a crime, they went to prison. That doesn't make it okay for you to exploit them, use them, abuse them, beat them, traumatize them. But when you go to prison and you come home, there is just a laundry list of obstacles. Now you're labeled for life as a felon. You can't carry certain weapons to protect yourself, whether that is a firearm, pepper spray. Did y'all know that? I'm not allowed legally to carry pepper spray as a felon. I know. Certain states still will not let you vote, have a liquor license, cannabis license, dealership, car dealership license. Every state is different. A lot of jobs won't hire you, a lot of places won't rent to you, and a lot of people coming home are homeless. Like, the obstacles that you have to go through just to get on your feet and just be okay when you come home from prison, it's crazy. Then you add the trauma of going to prison. A lot of inmates have PTSD from their body physically being in survival mode for so long, and that's another layer to it. Then a lot of times when inmates go home, now they don't have health insurance, so they can't get the medication that they were on in prison. That could be mental health medication, heart medicine, blood pressure medicine, whatever, just any kind of medicine. Now they have to go home and they have to start a whole process of getting insurance. I will say that every state is different. So New York, you can actually go home with Medicaid, and it's a whole thing. I should probably do a video on it. And let's say in prison, they were finally getting the treatment that they needed for their body. They were finally on the medication that helped their mental health, their physical health. Then they go home and they can't take it anymore. Well, that's great. That's another layer to that stress. And like, humans can only take so much, right? And what do we do in this country as a whole? We say, you just shouldn't have broken the law. We have policymakers, lawmakers coming to the table with this garbage. My solutions for prison reform and how to fix it, first of all, it's going to take generations to fix all of the harm and the damage that was caused, because it has hurt this country for generations. So it only makes sense that it would take generations to fix it. And the war on drugs. And the war on drugs, and reallocate all the money that you're using to chase down teeners and half grams to help people in active addiction. And all of the money that you spend to house people in prison for possession, paraphernalia, etc., use that money to open treatment centers and rehabs, and instead of sending them to prison, send them to rehab and treatment so that they can get help for the disease of addiction. If you're a trafficker, like high-level drug dealer, you should go to prison. If you have a little bit that you're selling to help your own habit, I think that you should still go to treatment. And I know that sounds crazy if you've never been in the life, but a lot of us, we were just selling to support our habit. We needed just as much help as someone that was only caught with, one bag. Maybe I was caught with 10 separate individual bags. That would be intent to sell. Or if you have over a certain amount, it's automatically intent to sell. That's also ridiculous because a lot of people have a very high tolerance to whatever they're using because they've been using it for a long time. So to automatically slap them with intent to distribute, I don't agree with that. I was charged with intent to distribute. So maybe I am a little biased. There's always gonna be overlaps where even if someone is a trafficker, maybe they do struggle with addiction too. So there's always gonna be overlaps. There's always gonna be, you can't help every single person, and no one's ever gonna agree to pass like wide sweeping laws. But I do believe that drugs should be decriminalized. I think the only people that should be in prison for drugs are people that are bringing in like truckloads of fentanyl. And at the end of the day, it's never gonna stop. The demand is here. The supply will always meet that demand, and no amount of prison time will ever stop it. And when you make something illegal, it becomes more valuable. So what we're doing is we're only adding more harm to the war on drugs. We're only adding more harm to people's lives. The money is there to help people with addiction. We just have to reallocate it and rework it and change laws, change policies. And it's gonna take time, but how much longer can this country continue to do shit that doesn't work? We know it doesn't work. We know prison doesn't work. How much longer are we going to bang our head against the wall trying to come up with these weird ass solutions like taking organs from inmates to try to fix problems? Like, it makes no sense. Part of me thinks that we'll never see lasting and like real change when it comes to the prison system because of how much money this country makes off of prison inmate labor. I mean, uniforms, Boeing, Starbucks covers. I mean, the sky's the limit. Anything that's cheaply made, you might want to look into how it was produced. But inmates make so many things. American flags, parts, military parts for like tanks or some crap, I don't know. Tons and tons of things. But capitalism, I mean, what are you gonna do? We really do restrict a lot of shit for the land of the free. Just saying. I really want to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comment section down below. If you're struggling with active addiction, I'm a partner with Groups Recover Together. They are both online and in-person treatment program. They believe in harm reduction. They're an incredible team of people, and we're opening in new states all the time, so definitely check out the map and the landing page that I have with them. It's in the description box of every single video. Before I end today's video, I do just want to say, if you've made it this far, that I really appreciate and love you guys. Thank you for still watching the channel and supporting me through one of the hardest times of my life. I'm finally, feeling like myself and getting back to filming, which I love, and I'm just really grateful. I'm really grateful for all of you that you still, you know, want to hear what I have to say, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you, because there's no wrong way to recover, and don't let any bitch say otherwise. Bye, you guys. Massachusetts, why can't I say Massachusetts? Have I met a serial killer? I read an article that says you walk by like 8 murderers in your lifetime or something, 8 or 12 murderers or something like that. That's wild. Definitely met more than 8 people with that charge. That's not relevant. Okay.